Welcome to our Savvy series. I'm Catherine Magana here with Rachel Ivanovich, and today we're going to discuss proactive wealth process. So as we look at some of our workshops and things that we do and some of the services we provide, one of the things that we follow is a proactive wealth process. So this is separate from financial planning and investments. The financial planning process is a 7-step process that we go through when we bring on new clients and work with them. But the proactive wealth process is really kind of designed for those multitask women that are out there that really are looking for a system on learning and educating themselves. And this is something that we've incorporated in our business.
This is something that you came up with, isn't it?
You know what? We've been working on this as a firm for many years, and it's something we have in our workshops. And that we didn't design it ourselves. It was something that we've learned over the years and put together.
It honestly is really cool because when you first talked about proactive wealth process, I was like, what is that? What is she talking about? But I think it's really cool because we had our workshop last week or 2 weeks ago, and we talked to the women that were there about it a little bit because we were talking about, taking care of your finances can be very overwhelming. Yes. And so having an actual process to go through that can make it fun and not so overwhelming.
And so what that looks like is there's really kind of 4 pillars or kind of 4 areas that we look at. One is asset management, one is liabilities, another is protective strategies, and then the estate planning. But it's not just so general. I mean, it dives in a little bit deeper.
You can go really deep with it.
Yes.
And I think one of the things I really love about it, and I just finished reading a book called All It Takes Is a Goal. And one of the things in the book that John Acuff talks about is set easy goals. Mm-hmm. Set a goal that's so easy that your friends are going to be like, what, that's all I have to do? Mm-hmm. And so I think looking at these 4 areas on a regular basis, but breaking it down into easy goals will help you feel like you can get your hands around your finances and not feel so, where do I even start?
And so when we think about asset management, one of the things we say is, it's investments. Like we just think it's just investments. And another thing is for the liabilities, we think is, maybe just your mortgage or debt, and then protective strategies, usually it's just, do I have life insurance? And then estate planning, do you have your wills and trusts? And so, yes, those are like the primary foundation items you want to make sure you have in place. And these are some things that do come up with our financial planning process too. But when you start digging a little deeper in those different kind of areas, for asset management, it could be tax planning, asset allocation, growth strategies, income. I mean, you can dive a little deeper and kind of look at, okay, does this apply to me, or what areas of this should I be looking at?
And instead of trying to tackle all of the areas at once, I think it really makes sense, as we teach in our workshops, is take one of these pillars each quarter and focus on one area. Yeah. Of that. So right now, tax planning, it's a great time of year to start thinking about that. Or maybe you want to look at your investments.
Yeah, so if you break it down, it's more manageable. So like maybe second quarter, you say, I'm going to review my liabilities. So I'm going to look at my mortgages, my debts, portfolio lines of credit, student loans. Is there something that I'm missing? Third quarter, you could look at protective strategies, perhaps revisit your life insurance, your long-term care insurance, buy-sell agreements, key person planning, retirement planning. And then fourth quarter, wills and trust, estate tax planning, powers of attorney, life insurance and annuities, and that's more the legacy planning. And so what we look at is each quarter is, we do provide little education events, different webinars and things throughout the year. We actually just had a webinar with one of the advisors here on kind of Roth conversions and backdoor Roth. And then next quarter, we're going to be looking at some required minimum distributions and some questions that come up with that. And so it is important that, you look at these different, areas in the wealth process and then learn, and we're here to educate and help along the way. We also host different events throughout the year, and sometimes it's more for lifestyle and kind of looking at, in the fall of last year, we did a workshop that we talked about the differences between men and women and their immune systems.
That was cool.
I know, that was really pretty fascinating. And so, we're here also, as we're looking at the core areas, it's also lifestyle. We actually had a discussion on the benefits of wine and chocolate. And
we should do that again.
I know, that was fun. We should definitely do that again. And so, once again, financial planning and the proactive wealth process do kind of go hand in hand. But as you're learning and rules and things change every year, we definitely think following the proactive wealth process, and that's ongoing. And once again, breaking it down each quarter and learning.
So who said you can't change what you don't measure. Was that Zig Ziglar? Was that Jim
I just
Rohn?
actually am listening to Zig Ziglar.
Yeah, so I really love that idea, and I have kids. You have kids, and I don't know if you had trackers for them with stickers and such. But when my kids were little and they had their chores and everything, I had their basically a sheet like, okay, but you have to take out the trash and you have to clean your room, you have to brush your teeth and blah blah blah. So I think thinking about your finances in that way, and I'm a visual person, so as an adult, why don't we have trackers? Yeah. Why can't we?
Like, let me check that box. Let me put a star by that.
Did I pay all my bills on time? Do I know what my expenses are? Do I have, am I keeping within, a spending plan, or maybe I'm saving for a big trip? So I think it's really good to have those easy goals for your finances, and maybe you're trying to save, for a trip. Maybe you're trying to fully fund your 401k or your retirement plan. Maybe you want to pay off debt or your student loans, and actually breaking it down into bite-sized pieces will help make the process so much easier. Yeah.
We had one of our clients, she's been working with us, now probably for about 10 years now. And when we started working with her, she said, wow, like, I didn't realize you do all this. Like, because in the region, she's like, my advisor, they just called me to buy or sell a stock. Like, and so there's so much more and so much it's evolved over the years. And well, yes, it's important, yes, you can buy different positions, but it is important to look at kind of holistically everything that's in place. And there's a lot of decisions and ways to create wealth and save. And so once again, that's kind of what we're here for. So
what are you focusing on this quarter?
So this quarter, I was really kind of looking at, tax planning is always on my
horizon.
On my mind. And that's definitely something we've been really focusing on this quarter as we're kind of looking at the rest of this year. But from, like I mentioned, from the one of the things that we're seeing having a lot of questions on are required minimum distributions, which is RMDs, which is why next quarter we're going to do some education on that for our clients.
Love it.
Okay, so that concludes our session for today. But if you have any burning questions, or if you'd like to contact us and set up a session with us, you can reach us at 760-692-5700. That's 760-692-5700. And thank you for joining us today. And remember to Savvy Up. Please stay tuned for important regulatory disclosures.
Savvy Women Wealth Management is an SEC registered investment advisor. The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. It is only intended to provide education about the financial industry and how we may be able to assist. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. As always, please remember investing involves risk and possible loss of principal capital. Tax considerations presented may not be appropriate for every individual circumstance. A tax professional should be consulted before making any decisions about your tax liability.